Ooh, Lance first. What's up, Lance? Heavy hitter in the house. Give you some folks some time to get in here. We won't be here long tonight. I know it's late for some of y'all. Cotton maybe in the car. Hop in the car. Let's give a few to some folks in here to talk about this game. I got to tell you, Miami gave them a little more than I thought. I was thinking that Indiana would just kind of run them out, but yeah, that's why they play the games, right? All right, let's give a couple folks in here time to get in here, give some opinions. Fitting that game ends on a Carson Beck interception. Although he actually made some pretty big throws in the second half. What's up, Chris Gatesman? Mr. Dent, what's up, dude? Yeah, I thought Indiana was going to wax him. I was looking kind of for a 41-14, I think is what I predicted it as, but I've been wrong on just about every prediction I've had this year, so why stop on the last game of the season at the end of January? Bama Dave, what's up? Yeah, there was a couple times I didn't get to see much of the first half. I was at work tonight, so I didn't get home until about halftime, a little bit before halftime, and so I watched most of the second half. But there was a couple times, like the block punt, I thought that Indiana was going to pull away from him there. Even the last touchdown Mendoza scored, but credit to Miami, they never went away. Jay Bake, what's up, brother? Their offensive. I turned it on the second quarter. Holly Rowe called Indiana's kicker their offensive field goal kicker. That's how I was last year, Jay Bake. I didn't watch 1 second of that. Whoever played for the championship last year, I don't remember. Ohio State and Team B. Yeah, Fletcher looked good for Miami. He had some good runs. That Miami pass rush is relentless. We talked about that after that Ole Miss game. That Miami's pass rush was just insane. That would keep them in a good bit of these playoff games. If their pass rush could hold up, and they did. They got after it. They got after Mendoza a good bit. Now, some of those sacks, Mendoza fell down like Aaron Rodgers in that game last week, where it took him about 30 seconds to actually fall to the ground. But Miami's got some sick edge rushers, man. They got some sick pass rushers. Sick pass rushers. But Miami played well. Credit to Miami. I think a lot of people thought that Indiana was gonna whip them pretty good. But kudos to the Canes, man. They made it tough. Big, strong, tough tackle QBs who can pass, run, and take note. You're right. I will check out your most recent tweet, Jay Bake. Yes, the portal will be active now that this game's over. These teams get I think 5 days for guys to enter. So you're going to see a bunch of names entering the portal, I think, out of this game. So, but that we were kind of thinking that anyway, that maybe, I mean, I don't know if that Alabama's in on any of these players that possibly could be hopping in the portal from Indiana or Ohio State. I don't know that Bama's going to be in on any of these guys, but I mean, there's going to be some good players entering the portal. I think Signetti finally smiled. We finally got a smile from old Kurt. So anyway, let's see. Miami's fourth down from their own 35. They converted. Bama failed. Bama failed a lot. Yes, Lewis Tipton, thanks for hopping in. Malachi Tony's that guy's sick. What year is he? Anybody know? I mean, he's already coming back next year, did he say? I mean, is he – I don't even know. Yeah, yes, John. Cotton said he was going to try to hop in on he was at the game not at the game, but he was watching the game at a friend's house. So he said he might hop in on the way home. Freshman. Oh, wow. True freshman. Man, can't believe he's going to be in the portal in about a half hour. Because that's how it works now, right? Freshman blow up, key contributor, boom, portal. Sweet Home Bama, what's up? Thanks for hopping in. Dang, freshman. You know, I was texting with Tobias during this game, T. Smitty. Y'all know him from the chat. T. Smitty. He doesn't. Yeah, they were talking about, he was thinking they were thinking that's how Ryan Williams need to be used, how Miami used Malachi Tony. So maybe they could take some blueprints of this. Tony seems a little more, decisive on when he has the ball in his hand and he actually gets the ball in his hand. So, but Ryan's got that explosiveness in him. I mean, he's got that explosive element to his game. I don't know if I see what Malachi Tony brings, but that guy's a beast. Yes, Keith, that block punt was huge. Roll Tide, K-Spray. Dent, you're right. We need difference makers. The block punt was so weird looking because that punter held the ball up above his head forever. And it's like he ran over in front of the Indiana guy and punted it right into him. It was so weird. It was so weird. And I love seeing punters with the arm sleeve tats. You got Koulians to walk around as a punter all tatted up like that. That's pretty awesome. Yes, Malachi Tony's about to get paid by somebody. Miami, Texas is my guess. Malachi Tony is now a Texas Longhorn, just letting y'all know. Or a Dodger. He may have signed with the Dodgers. Yeah, number 87 from Miami. Didn't even block the guy. Kind of laid him. But I don't know if he was expecting his punter to run over there and punt it directly into him. He may have been thinking his punter was going to punt from back there, but that's the new style of punting now, is that rugby style where you run to the right and boot it. What's up, Kyle? No, did he not shake any hands? Well, he is 35 and these are all kids. So, he may have felt, like somebody's dad walking around out there. I don't know. I didn't realize he didn't shake any hands though. Probably because I had already hopped on the computer and was trying to get this thing going. 178 of you in here. Thank you for hopping in here. I know it's late. It's 10:27 Central Time where I am. Not sure where any of y'all are watching the game. I know some of y'all are in Texas, I think. I know Lance is in Texas, I believe. Not sure where everybody else is chiming in from. I was very impressed though with actually both teams. This was a good championship game. I mean, this was what you expect national championship game to be, is a couple teams, battling it out, never quitting. I'll give Miami props. Been easy to roll over. 9:30 in the mountains. Nice. Yeah, Beck had to hurry out, find a ride home. There you go, Lance. Yeah, I mean, 23, 24, something like that. A bunch of old guys. Indiana's going to have a vastly different looking team next year. I don't know how many of their roster is out of eligibility. What is eligibility anyway? Does anybody even care about eligibility anymore? I mean, you got 7-8 year guys on the regular, 30-year-old, 27, 28-year-olds. They were bragging about Beck. This is Beck's 45th collegiate start. Dude was in the same recruiting class as C.J. Stroud, who also looked fantastic this weekend. Let's not get crazy there, Dent. I'm not going to go that far. Indiana graduating 25, 10 to the NFL, 5 in the portal. Yeah, so is this going to be, chat, what do you guys think? Eligibility is 10 years now. Chat, what do you guys think? Is this Indiana's one-hit wonder? Are they the wonders? Or does Cignetti build something that sustains for the next, say, 5 to 6 years as he approaches 70 years old? He's not going to coach for 15 years there, I don't believe, but he may have a good 10-year run in him. So is this Indiana's only appearance at the big boy table, or have they now arrived and here we go. Off year next year. I could see that. You're right, Kyle, with the TJ Finley gimmick now. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. All right, that's great. We're done with that. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. So after seeing these two teams go at it, guys, I don't know how many non-BAMs are in the chat. I think mostly filled with Alabama chat. What's up, Johnny Weaver? How far off is Alabama from being in this game, from competing in this game? What do you guys think? Are we anywhere close? Are we a couple of plays away? A couple of players away? Are we a couple of players in key positions away? Have we done enough in the portal to get some stability? What does everybody think? How close are we? We've rebuilt the offensive line. We're rebuilding the defensive line. So are we close? Is Bama close? Did you see anything tonight that leads you to believe, Bama's a couple players away and we're going to be back in this thing? Or are you thinking, man, we're at least a year off? Like DeBoer needs another year of building his team in the portal and then, signing day. And then 2027 will be his year of put up or shut up. What do you guys think? Who knows? You're right. I mean, we obviously don't know anything. Cotton sent me a link today of his playoff prediction for next year based off the end of the transfer portal. I couldn't stop laughing. It was ridiculous. But Cotton lives for those preseason brackets. Yeah, we're missing that dog mentality. I agree, Kyle. We're missing that mentality. I'm worried about some of the staff, Keith. Not all of them, but some of the staff I am concerned about. I'm going to refrain from names, but I think we all know the guilty parties that we all are thinking are suspect. Chris, it depends on the nature of the 4 losses. I agree. We are not going to put up with another 4-loss season if we're getting blown out. Like if we get blown out, 50 times, if we get blown out 50-10 or anything like that, I think that's bad. But if we lose 3 regular season competitive games, go to the playoffs and lose the playoff game close, and then that's our 4 losses, I don't think that's a fireable offense. Now, if we get blown out 4 times, it's getting harder and harder to defend him. Yes, Johnny. And Indy has some dogs out there. We saw that in the Rose Bowl when they ran us through like we were a junior varsity team. Lance, you're right. I hate to react, in the flesh after a loss like that, but a loss like that is a fireable offense for somebody. I'm not saying for DeBoer yet, but usually when you get smoked like that, changes are made. So far, he's made none. He did hire Derek Nix only because Shep left, this may end up being a good thing. This may end up being an actual upgrade in terms of coaching the receivers on how to play the position, on how to catch the ball, how to receive the ball, how to attack the ball in the air, techniques for catching balls, not letting it into your chest, that kind of stuff. Obvious things you think that are fixable things that did not get fixed this year. Maybe a new receivers coach will kind of help fix that problem. Our lineman had a tough year. Man, I was on Miller's, not on the show, but watching Miller's Edge today, and he was doing some breakdown of some of our plays last year and our offensive line. There was one play showed where they rushed. We had max protection, and they rushed like 4 and still sacked Simpson. So it was like, tough. Let's see. I mean, that's a good point, Bama Dave. It's hard to, you can't. I think this was a minimum of 4-year. DeBoer is going to be here 4 years unless he walks. Greg Burns, not the fire guy on a whim kind of AD. I don't get. I think that this is a 4-year plan. We're not going to get into fire a coach every 2 years because we don't think he's doing what Saban did. We're not going to get into that game. I think Burns got a plan. They're building something to sustain with their high school recruiting. Now, having said that, some of these guys got to play now. We've got two top high school classes. They're gonna have to start playing some of these guys. We can't just bring a bunch of portal guys in and play all them. They're gonna have to start playing some of these highly rated guys. AK Deer needs to be a significant part of the running back rotation. He should have been this year. Why we were wasting time with some of these running backs this year that clearly weren't cutting the mustard, and then just blaming everything on the offensive line. That was an easy cop out. I was just saying, offensive line. Forget the fact that some of the running backs couldn't juke their way out of a sack, couldn't create space for themselves, couldn't break a tackle, couldn't pick the right hole. Some of this was on the running backs. Running backs have to be able to create on their own at times too. The offensive line is not going to go part the Red Sea every single running play. So the fact that we never let Deer play, and I don't know why. I'm sure there's a reason why. Maybe he wasn't good enough blocker. Maybe, who knows? Maybe whatever reason they thought having the most explosive running back on the team sitting and letting Jam Miller get 10, 12 carries a game, averaging 1.4 yards a carry was gave us our best chance to win. I'm not sure the thought process there. Yeah. Now he hate me. This is a good point. Now to in a small defense of Debo here, not huge but small, is I doubt he's ever had to make any bold choices in his, like, as he's ascended in his coaching career to wind up at Alabama. I doubt he's ever had to make any bold moves on his staff yet. There's really been no reason. He did, Smitty. That thing was quacking. I was playing duck. I thought I was playing Nintendo, man. I whipped out my old Nintendo duck hunt gun. You old school cats in here. I'm glad Smitty's in here because he can back me up too on some of these running backs. Smitty, we were talking earlier about how AK Deer needs to be in the rotation. He should have been this year, but we were wasting downs with average running backs at best. Daniel Hill needs to learn how to break a tackle from a guy that's a third his size. Once he figures that out, he's going to be a tough load to handle. That's true. And now Sheridan's at Michigan State, so it ended up costing us Nick Sheridan. Saved his red shirt. See, that's the thing. Red shirts don't mean anything, as guys aren't going to be here long enough where that matters. Like if now AK Deer is a red shirt, that doesn't mean anything. It's not like we get an extra year. If he blows up, he's either gone or he's in the draft. That could be true, Lance. He may not have known the plays. Run up the middle, it seems only one play. But I know there's other plays. There's blocking schemes. You got the things you do without the ball as a running back are almost more important than the things you do, with the ball. But you still have to have explosiveness at that position. Ty directed Deer where to stand a lot. Yeah. I mean, I see that too. Let's see. I never have to go through a slew of wrong coaches like the Mikes till we find our next. That's why I don't think Burns is just going to up and fire DeBoer just because all of Bama Nation is screaming about it. Like Legend gets on the show and makes a fool out of himself screaming and yelling. Like that does any good. I mean, I get on here hooting and yelling, but not screaming like that. I mean, he was ready to fire DeBoer after one game this year, which was an ugly game, but come on now. Rome wasn't built in a day. Yes, there's going to be some explosiveness in the running back room now with Deer, Crowell. Hopefully, Daniel Hill and Kevin Riley are better with a year of experience and playing in big games. We have to be better up front, though, and that starts with Curry Rammer Jammer. That's the thing, Mike Teal. I get he's got a pass block. I understand it. I understand that funny Derrick Henry story when he got to Alabama and they were fussing at him about blocking. And he told Saban, man, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. They just gave me the ball and said, run. Sometimes I wish we would, like, when it got bad this year, when it was clear we couldn't run the ball, we needed to try something different. Okay, put the kid in that's explosive. Put the one guy running back on the team that has some shimmy to him and some explosiveness to him and see what happens. But, DeBoer said, we're going to run this out every week with the same And the same thing with the receivers. We had receivers dropping balls left and right, never played another one. It was the same 3 receivers. Never played Derek Meadows, never played Cole Adams, never played Mbakwe, hardly ever played Scott Hale. It was the same 3 receivers on the field or 4 receivers every play, making the same drops, same guys dropping the same balls, same running backs, picking the wrong holes, same running backs, not breaking tackles, getting same every week. There was never a change. That's why I'm saying DeBoer's never had to make a bold choice, a bold move. It's time now that if people are underperforming or if something's not working, try something else. From week 1 to week 15 or game 1 to game 15, it was the same running play for 15 weeks, 15 games. It was the same running play that never worked, and we never ventured off of it. Same guys, same play, same results, rinse, repeat 15 times. So, bingo. This is 1,000% true. This is what I'm saying. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. It would cost Bama $100 million easy if they fire DeBoer. And then they have to sign a new coach. Who's that going to be? If you say Lane Kiffin, you're fired from being a Bama fan. Don't tell me Dan Lanning. He gets blown out in the playoffs too. He's 0-3 against DeBoer, so I don't hear that. Don't tell me Glenn Schumann. He got wiped out, and they ran through his defense in the playoffs. Who else are we going to get? Don't say Cignetti. He's not leaving. Why would he leave Indiana to come to Tuscaloosa? And if he loses one game, have to listen to us scream and cry about how he wasn't as good as Saban or he didn't do it like Saban. So for all the fire DeBoer people that are coming, like who's the next? Who are you going to get? Who are you going to get? Who would be better right now than the guy? Now, I'm just saying. I don't know that anybody's going to recruit better than him. Now he's got these players in these 2 recruiting classes. Let me finish. They've got to start. We've got to start seeing some fruits of this labor. We can't have all these great classes and then let them sit and learn for 3 years behind all these portal players. Ooh, that's interesting, Jay Bake. That's very interesting. We miss this. We miss Scott Cochran in a lot of ways. He took some heat because some guys blew their knees out, but we miss Scott Cochran in this program in a lot of ways, not just the weight room, but in several ways we miss that dude. Yes, I'm with you, Jay Bake. I'm still down with Debo. I think he's the right guy for the job. I think that we can now. It's now fair to expect. It's now kind of fair to expect better results now. I'm not, and listen, we might lose 3 or 4 games next year. This is going to be a very young team with a redshirt freshman quarterback or a redshirt junior quarterback. Either way, it's going to be a first-time starter. Could be a true freshman quarterback. If 2 guys go down in the spring, we're going to have a true freshman quarterback. So we're going to be young all over the place. When we went over the roster Thursday night, lot of FRs on that, as in freshmen. A lot of FRs on that roster. So I think that it's going to be a young team. So if we go 9-3 next year and don't go to Atlanta and don't make the playoffs, but we're competitive, that's okay. I think that's a strong momentum going into 27. This offense has a real chance to be explosive in 2027. We got a chance next year too. But there's going to be a lot of explosive pieces on this offense in 2027. I think it's got a really good chance of being one of the top offenses in mercenary pro league football. Yes, agreed, Smitty. We went 10-3 with a veteran team. So let's go 9-3 with a young team and let them cut their teeth, take some lumps, learn, because like Deion Sanders said this hysterical clip I saw the other day where he's talking about learning, sit on a bench and learn, sit behind somebody and learn. And Deion said, I don't ever remember a game where I didn't play, where I walked out of there and said, man, I learned something. So let the kids play. If we take some lumps, let them take some lumps. That's why I thought DeBoer should have I mean, I say should have. You can always sit back and say he should have done this, should have done that. Maybe he didn't do that this year because he thought that with Ty Simpson, that this was a shot to maybe catch lightning in a bottle this year. But and 11 wins, a playoff win on the road. I know it didn't end well, but it could have been a lot worse this year. He hate me. That's you really don't know. That's a fair concern. I can't argue this. I cannot argue this. Sometimes Grubb, I was wondering if Grubb was even watching the game when he was calling plays. Sometimes if you're watching the game, it felt like he wasn't even watching the game. He was like looking down at his play sheet. Let's do this play. Send in. And then he flips over here and like all the games going on up here. And then he's like, well, what about this one? You sure it's 4th and 2? You sure you want to do, you want to run the jet sweep with your receiver playing with the running back passing to the receiver? You don't want to just let your 250-pound running back maybe jump over the line? I don't know. But our 250-pound running back hadn't shown much of a ability to break a bunch of tackles and truck a bunch of people. So maybe he was thinking, don't know. Etch a sketch. Big difference, Smitty. You're right. Stubborn mofo, and he doesn't run an offense. He's just sitting up there calling plays, seeing if they work. It feels like, it's a thing of beauty to watch a real an offensive coordinator coordinate an offense based on what the defense is giving them, based on what the strengths of the offenses are. Running plays to attack the defense weakness, to expound upon the strengths of your team. Sometimes I feel like Grubb did that very well. Didn't attack a weakness on the defense, almost like he didn't know. So he's just still throwing plays out there. Defense blitzing every play. We don't run any quick slants or any screens, anything to counter the blitz. We don't do any of that. So we're running long 3, 4, 5, 7 second routes, 3, 4, 5 step drops, boom, sack. Yeah, you're right, Johnny. I think there's only like 6 players left on the roster that were Saban recruits now. Yeah, thank God they got rid of that Proctor play, whatever they called it, that Proctor play. That was brutal. Except we didn't have Marshawn Lynch. I still understand Pete Carroll's play there, not just handing it to Marshawn Lynch 4 times in a row on the 1 yard line. Yes, Lance, Mac's been here in the system for 3 years now, so he probably has a little edge on Keelan Russell. Now, will Keelan be okay sitting another year if that's how it shakes out? Is he and his agent going to allow him that? Agents make the calls now. Who was that player that was said that he had to portal? He was told he had to portal, even though he didn't want to, that his agent told him he had to portal for whatever. So this is a solid question. I don't know. There isn't one. There isn't a coach that would have done what DeBoer did this year, I don't think. And for all the Signiti people, he wasn't going to come to Alabama and go 16-0 this year. Just saying. Yes, agreed. If it's close, you got to go with Keelan, man. He's the golden goose. Now, that's interesting to say. If Russell doesn't start, he's gone. That could be it. These kids aren't making the decisions anymore. They're being told, hey, you need to reset the market value. So you need to portal out, basically opt out of your contract, because all these contracts have opt-outs after every year. They're all 1-year deals. Everybody's a free agent, but they're basically your regular contract with opt-outs after every year. And all these guys are going to opt out, and they got to reset their value, reset the market value. So that's what it's going to be. They're going to reset the market value. They have to do that every year. That's how the NFL does it. That's why guys that are free agents can't just take a hometown discount. You know, A-Rod said he'd sign with the Red Sox for $1 because he didn't need the money. And of course you can't do that. You can't do that. Now there's no union, there's no players union yet in the Mercenary Pro League. But I think that's coming as these salaries, the pay for play starts increasing. The portal starts filling up, like 12,000 or 10,000 players in the portal this year. There's about, Smitty, what would we say on John and Barry? Was it like 3,500 or something? Don't have anywhere to go. They portaled out. Now there's nowhere for them to go. They can't go back to their old team. So now they're stuck with nowhere to play. They're going to wind up in FCS or Division II somewhere, Ferris State or something like that, because their uncle, aka their agent or their buddy, that they, their older brother or whatever, has now become an agent. Because, to be an agent for the Mercenary Pro League, you just have to go into your Twitter bio and write agent. You don't have to go through any training. You don't have to get certified. You don't have to do anything. You can just walk in and say, agent right here. And then they're telling these players a portal because they can get all this money. And then the portal closes and there's 3,200 players or 3,000 players that don't have anywhere to go. I mean, grown-ups just ruin everything. Adults ruin everything. I think it's a lot of it's on Grubb for not being a very good coordinator in terms of running an offense. Major problems up front, and the players weren't that good. Andrew, it's not that they were schemed out. The players weren't that good. They were good players, but they weren't elite. They weren't great, and you need great players. To win 16 games, there are going to be more games too when they expand this playoff for some dumb reason. They're going to have these kids playing 25 games. Be like a friggin' baseball season for too long. And then the playoff game is going to cross over into spring training. So I'll be watching the college football playoff and also watching the Yankee spring training game. That's right, Bama Dave. I'm my own agent, so I need to find a new one because really, this is interesting. Everybody, Bama gets $195,000 per player for all sports. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Yes, this is 1,000% facts. 1,000% facts, John. It's not even the same. You can't compare any of it. Caller on a morning show, Bob from Pike Road, was fussing at me the other day because I said that Bama coaching job is an automatic hot seat, and I still think it is. I mean, DeBoer went 11-4, won a playoff game, and everyone wants to fire him and replace him with who? TikTok. There isn't anybody. If baseball survives, it's not surviving, Jay Bake. They're going to strike as soon as the CBA is up. Is it after this year? Yeah, it's Lance. It's been around 5 years, but not like this. This is. It started off, the first year was actually name, image, likeness. Hey, shoot a commercial. And we'll pay you to shoot a commercial. We'll pay you to endorse our product, which is what it was supposed to be. And then the grown-ups in the room just completely bypassed that and just said, I don't care if you shoot a commercial or not. Here's $5 million. Well, the grown-ups in the room ruin everything usually. The wide receivers didn't block very well this year either. That was a big key in our strong running games in years past was the receivers down there blocking. We had 2 out of the 3 that wanted no part of it. Yeah, A&M did buy a roster in 2022. And they got Jimbo fired and then everybody portaled. God, jeez. Grok Savage. Yeah, LT was one of those high price ones. Yeah, LT was a high sought after recruit. So I think we were on him out of high school, and he went to he was part of that famous Texas A&M class that got Jimbo fired, and then everybody was in the portal right after that. Yeah, no baseball in 2027. Mm-hmm. Andrew, you right. Those are the two positions that I think need to be replaced. I hate calling for a man's job, but I think those are the two positions that were clearly massive deficits this year. Like, fireable offense. If you're that bad at your job, you should be fired. Kramer's on Seinfeld. Y'all have a great night. Thanks, Dent, for stopping in, brother. Appreciate y'all. See you in the morning on Longshore McKnight. If y'all looking for a morning show in the mornings from 7 to 9 Central Time, tune in to Longshore and McKnight on YouTube. Two good dudes, local guys. They've been radio guys forever. They just started a YouTube channel about a year ago, a little over a year ago. So if y'all are looking for a show in the morning, talks a lot about Bama, Auburn stuff, SEC stuff. Y'all tune into them. You'll see a lot of us in the chat. Me, Smitty, Dent. Sometimes Cotton hops in there, but I was even on the show once. So anyway, if y'all are looking for a show in the morning, they're live on YouTube between 7 and 9 Central Time. Yes, the Bama and Georgia are recruiting high school elite talent still, and now I haven't seen Georgia be very active in the portal, and yet they're number 2 in whatever the stupid preseason, whatever the stupid ranking is that came out before this game is even over. I think you're right, Jay Bake. These high school classes are going to be getting smaller, but I still think that's how you sustain. That's how you build a sustained dominance or a sustained success, is not by plugging portals, not by every year raiding the portal for all these backups. Because let's face it, the portal is 90% other people's backups. We're just trading backups here. You know, we're not getting any elite. You're not getting a Malachi Tony out of the portal. Of course, I say that he'll be in the portal before this show's over, because it's everybody's a mercenary now. I don't think so. Bama Day, I think A-Day game fizzled. I think I don't know. I don't know how much they get out of that now. Production's fallen off about the last 4 years. There have to be different coaches, 2 different philosophies, but you have to be physical in your run game. We haven't been physical since Landon Dickerson took his talents to the NFL. That was the last real physically dominant offensive line that we've had. We've been struggling ever since, and I don't think it's a coincidence that the strength and conditioning program changed around that time, and now 5 years into it, no offensive lineman can push anybody out of the way. It's 3rd and 1. We don't get any push. We're having to run jet sweeps with the receiver because on 4th and 2, because our offensive line can't push anybody 2 yards. Yes. Let's see. Ryan Williams is a problem. He didn't want to catch. He's afraid to get hit. These guys have to be a lot tougher. All that money they're making to show up and play like that. I agree. Ryan Williams needs to want to play football. He needs to look like he wants to play football. There were times last year he looked like he wanted to play football. He was out there because he was going to work. It was a job. He did, and he got concussed in the first game. Usually I think if you get your bell rung, maybe he's never been hit like that before, and it took him a while to shake it off. But he was not attacking the football in the air. He was letting the football attack him, and that's not conducive to being a successful wide receiver. It did. It was teetering Saban's last 2 years. Although I know his last year we won the SEC. We were in the playoff. We were 4th and goal from the goal line from playing for a championship. But you could see chinks in the armor the last 2 years of Saban's tenure, including strength and conditioning. And DeBoer has taken a lot of the brunt for it. But this was teetering before DeBoer got there. Not a master. You're right, Smitty. Let's be real. Some of these kids' hunger is gone. This is the biggest problem with just throwing bags of money at these kids. Is a lot of these guys. The NFL is the only way out of a bad situation at home or a tough situation at home. The NFL is the only way out. So these guys will grind themselves down to nothing in college to put themselves in a position to get drafted in order to get their family out of wherever or get themselves out of wherever. So if they're getting bags While they're in high school, why do they need to grind it up in college? Sorry, it's not college. In the Mercenary Pro League, why grind it up there? I mean, they're paying guys that don't even produce. They're backups. They're paying a lot of backups. Now, Cam Coleman's not a backup, but, he was just a hired gun. Way to really be an individual there. Go to Texas with everybody else. That's the way to stand out. That's the way to make your own legacy. Yeah, you'll see Gatesman in that morning show trying to steer everybody to the John and Barry show, John. Trying to get him 1,000 subs. They're at like 880, so we want to get him up to 1K. So I'm going to try to help them out and plug their show here so we can get some crossover episodes. Yes, Mercenary Ball. Dave, you're right. That's why he ate me. That's why some of these 3-stars, that's why the 3-star guys sometimes are your best ones, because they know that they don't have a bag waiting for them, that they're going to have to step in and earn their spot, earn their roster spot, earn their reps, earn their carries. If you walk in with a $5 million bag already, why do I got to grind it up? Why do I got to spend an extra hour in the film room? Why do I got to spend an extra hour in the weight room? I mean, I've already got paid. Yeah, it takes. I mean, and these kids are so young to be having this kind of money. Y'all think about this. When you were 18 years old, okay? When you were 18 years old, we didn't know anything about what to do with money. So if you're 18 and somebody hands you $5 million, what's the first thing you're gonna do? You're gonna buy 2 cars, 3 cars. You're gonna just blow it on all this stuff, and you're gonna have to pay. Of course, now these agents are taking their cuts. Agents are taking their cuts immediately, so they're ripping out. So by the time the dust settles, that $5 million after you pay your team, your agents, your PR, because you got to have a PR guy now. You got to have somebody doing PR for you. By the time you pay your entourage, you're down to a couple $100,000, which is still a lot of money. Yeah, you're right, Lance. Hard to see the future at 19. You already got all the answers at 18 or 19, especially if grown people are simping for you and throwing you loads of money and you never played a snap there. Uncle Agent, you're right. Yes, it's not college football anymore, Andrew. It's the Mercenary Pro League. And yes, the players deserve to be paid. They've deserved to be paid for 100 years. They have deserved to be paid. The greedy NCAA has been sitting up in their office making money, pimping these players out. No different than a pimp. They're putting these players out there for nothing, while they're making all the money. I mean, Cotton tells a story that when he was at school at Alabama, because Cotton has 2 degrees from there, so while he was at school there, he's driving home one night, and one of the players was in a rainstorm, pouring down rain, and he couldn't even give him a ride because it was going to cost him some eligibility or something. And it's like, it's crazy. These guys should have been over a free meal, over a sandwich. They were suspending guys and ripping their eligibility and stuff. Cotton, what's up, brother? Oh, he was here. Now he's gone.
Hey, man, I'm going to keep my camera off.
You don't have to.
It's okay. It's okay. Actually, it's fine. Here, we'll do this.
Hey, there he is.
There we go.
People were asking where Cotton was, so I said, hey, he's here. He's going to be here sometime.
I was watching the game with a buddy up the road. I just got back, so.
Okay. What'd you think? So the question I asked the chat was, after seeing that, how far off is Bama from competing in a game like this in your eyes?
Like that?
Are we 2 years out?
2 years sounds reasonable, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, I think so. My thoughts on Bama are this. I don't do that.
Not anymore.
I don't do that. My thoughts on Bama are this. Basically, it's a let's wait and see what Bama's going to look like in 2026. It could be really, really good, or it could be exactly what it was in 2025 again. And I am at the point to where I got to see it. Mm-hmm. I want to see it first. I'm excited about the season. I think that there's potential for them to be back in the title hunt. But again, I got to see it. And I also keep going back to that year that what was the final score of that Washington Michigan game back then, chat? I'm sure somebody
in the championship game.
Yeah.
I think it was like 31-15 or something. I mean,
okay,
Michigan
so
it
wasn't an absolute massacre.
It wasn't a massacre, but it was pretty decisive.
But I think what's promising to me is this. I'm not sold on all the staff. I know a lot of people want certain folks fired, but I do feel like there's some reason to be hopeful in the fact that the staff immediately went to work on the three areas of the game that we knew needed to be improved. Special teams.
Yep.
What do? They go out and replace the entire special teams unit. Offensive line, rebuilt. Defensive line, rebuilt. Now, I'm not saying they made some of these kids leave, James Smith, Quay Rusall, guys like that. But I do think that they weren't necessarily begging them to stay, especially for the amount of money that they commanded and the production that you were getting. But because of the high rate of turnover, it could be a year in which it's still a little uncomfortable for Alabama in 2026. But I don't think as Alabama fans, we change the expectation, which is to win a national championship. Right. So
that's what needs to stay there. The expectation needs to stay in place.
Sure.
Otherwise.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we need to be realistic about that expectation, but there's nothing wrong with having it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well said.
If they don't make it, it doesn't mean the sky's falling. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with feeling like it's championship or bust every season, because we had a coach for 17 years who instilled that into the fan base. And so, that game, I'll be honest, man, Miami. I got a buddy who's a big Miami fan, and he asked me a week ago, he's like, do you think we can win this? And I said, look, Miami's going to have to play a perfect game. They're going to have to play a perfect game. And they did not. They had the blocked kick for a touchdown. They made mistakes. Mm-hmm. And that they should have won that football game, to be honest with you. Of course, Carson Beck's always do. The greatest thing about it is, the sloth Carson Beck picture. I made that after ACC Media Days, and destiny has come full circle. Here we are. Maybe it was my fault. I don't know.
Any more fitting for their season to end on a Beck interception? And that was a duck, man. That thing was 20 yards short.
I want to know. I wish there were some dog fans in here, because I'd love to know what Georgia fans are thinking right now, because I got a feeling they're probably laughing their tails off, man. So
they need something to do. They haven't won a playoff game in 3 years, so they need something to do. Sorry, Randy, if you're hearing that. Sorry.
Hey, happy birthday,
Happy
Keith.
birthday, Keith. Is it Keith's birthday? Did I miss that?
That's what it looks like.
Oh, fit double nickels, dude. Happy birthday, Keith.
Yeah,
Thanks for spending some of it with us.
So I think it'll be really interesting to see what to make of Indiana next year. Because no matter what they're bringing in talent-wise, I think they take a step back. Mm-hmm. Fernando Mendoza is, he's a high-level elite college quarterback, and he's going to be really tough to replace. So do I think Indiana wins a national championship again next year? No. Do I think the media they're going to be the story all offseason? Probably, but
Yeah, that'd be tough to replicate. 16-0. We said nobody's going undefeated again, and then Indiana did it.
I would be willing to say this is the last time it happens.
Yes, I think this is one of those rare occurrences where everything lined up right in terms of roster construction. I didn't see anything from Mendoza tonight that tells me he's the hands down number one pick. Smitty and I were texting this earlier, and he's like, Raiders need to trade that pick, man.
He actually had some really bad throws tonight. He plays uncharacteristically.
Yeah, he did not.
Yeah.
But Miami's front seven had a little something to do with that too. Those guys were relentless.
Sure. And that was the reason that I had it, everybody's picking picking Indiana, but I just had this feeling that Miami was going to make it a ball game because of that. That defensive line is that pass rush, Bain and what's the other guy? I forgot his name. Starts with an M, but
Yeah.
They're able to take over a game, and
They almost did.
yeah, they almost did. They almost did. And it's just crazy, man, because Miami, like, I looked at my buddy at halftime. I was like, if I said this during the Rose Bowl, I said it during the Oregon game, if Miami would just go fast, it would keep that defense, because that defense, that's an elite level defense that Indiana has. So if they would just go fast, it would keep that defense off balance. And what did they start to do in the second half? Go fast, started to have some success, and you felt like they had something. They found something, right? And then, of course, Carson Beck's going to Carson Beck. Here we are. So,
They should have ran it with number 4 or more. That guy was, or did something, more with Tony.
he was super underutilized until late in the game, I felt like. But
Man, I didn't know he's a true freshman. Jeez.
It was weird because, like, Indiana was giving him the middle of the field, man. But Carson Beck was super uncomfortably whole night. I think he was throwing from a clean pocket most of the game, but it was almost like, he felt pressure the entire game. And so it was weird. Like he would not get his feet set the entire night. And it caught up with him, man. It was just a terrible throw. And he had a couple of really bad ones. And so
I think hung in the air for about 10 minutes when that last throw.
I am going to say this. I'm going to call it a coat. Say what you want. But before I get off of here, because I got to get up early, and it's past midnight over here. But
it sure is, isn't it? Yeah.
The last 4 postseasons, Alabama lost to the national champion in the national championship, lost to the eventual national champion in the Rose Bowl, lost to the defending national champion in what was it, the Citrus Bowl, and then lost to the eventual national champion in the Rose Bowl. I'll take that.
Hey, man, if your season's going to end, it might as well be to the eventual champ.
Hey, man.
No shame in that.
I'm going to figure out a way to shit rainbows all over this thing one way or the other.
We can dress up a pile of crap like no one other.
Yeah,
trust me.
Hey,
We'll bedazzle a pile of crap for sure.
Yeah, we'll put some polish on it. It's still a big pile of crap.
That's right. That's right.
It's pretty looking. So, oh, man. But I'll be honest, man. Actually, there was a part of me that wanted Miami to win that game. I know a lot of Bama fans don't like Miami. But I did not want to see the Big Ten win another national championship. And we got to live with that.
Yeah.
The whole offseason. But the Big Ten owns us right now. I'm going to be honest, man. The Big Ten owns college football right now. They
can't argue.
So,
well, I'd rather have that than knowing that Carson Beck led a team to a national title and, Milroe or Ty Simpson couldn't.
I just thought it'd be kind of funny to watch Georgia fans collapse.
Now that would be funny.
Sorry, Randy, but also
I do love Randy.
that would
have been funny.
Another thing I noticed, look, I'm just going to say this. I don't want to say there's validity to the cheating allegations. There's cheating allegations out there, if you're unaware, about Indiana hacking into systems with play calls and stuff like that. But I noticed a couple of times their corners jumping routes before the ball was even snapped. I'm just saying, like, just dropping into exactly where the route was going to be before the ball was even snapped. And I was just kind of like, how the hell are they doing that?
That's funny you say that, because I didn't know that I didn't hear that part. But there was a couple of plays where I was like, man, that linebacker just blasted up the middle. Like he knew exactly where the protection was going to slide. He was right through it, right past him. I was like, well, he spent a lot of time in the film room.
Yeah. Or
allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly. So. All right, buddy. Hey, thanks for doing a live for us, Jeff. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, dude. Man, everybody thank Cotton. He's been killing the videos and the shorts all week. I had to step out of the movie theater Saturday and record one.
Thank you.
But y'all give props to Cotton. He's keeping the videos coming and keeping the content coming, and appreciate y'all for watching and liking and all that stuff. So
yeah, make sure you share the hell out of those guys.
Share them, please. Tell your friends.
Everywhere. Clip them, share them all over the place.
Everywhere.
Share them in your Facebook groups. Did you tell them about Spotify yet?
No, we are back up on Spotify. So go find us on Spotify. It's Waaaay Offsides. It's the logo you see right here under me. Look for that one. There's two Waaaay Offsides on Spotify out there. One's the old one and then the one with this logo. So look for this logo. follow us there. If you want to listen to your car anytime like that, make sure you follow us there. So
all right,
appreciate y'all.
I
appreciate you, Cotton.
I'm
going to bed, man. We'll see you Thursday.
Hey, look, guys, make sure you're locked in. Just because the season's over doesn't mean college football ends. 365 days right here.
We're just getting ramped up, baby.
Yeah. I don't think Bama's done in this portal yet either. So
there's going to be some names that we're going to be talking to.
I agree. All right, man.
All right, brother. See you Thursday.
Roll Tide.
Rolleth. All right, there's Cotton that popped in to join us after his after watching the game with a friend of his. So appreciate y'all. We're gonna be on in about a couple more minutes. Yeah, it's 11:15. I gotta clean up, brush my teeth, and I gotta get ready for bed too, man. It's been a long day. I'm tired. Mark Cuban is now the star of Indiana. He made sure that he was seen enough tonight. He made sure that everybody knows who his team is and who he's going to be the booster of. So, so Mark Cuban is now the star of Indiana. Congrats, Mark. You did it. You did it. Yes, everybody hit the like button, please, and subscribe button if you're not. If you're watching on Twitter, head over to the YouTube page and give us a like and a sub on YouTube. That's where the content is. Cotton's been killing these videos. I'm trying to keep up, getting them on Spotify, but I check YouTube and there's 6 more videos I'm behind. So y'all, there's a bunch more videos coming that he's put out. We're going to put them up. I'm going to put them up on Spotify in the next few days. I just need some time. Jay Bake, I have no idea, but my hopes aren't high that we're going to do anything different than we've done the last 60 years, which is hire a defensive guy and try to grind it out with 3 yards and a cloud of dust on offense. Even though there's a ton of young, bright offensive minds out there that deserve a shot. I mean, we're interviewing Flores twice, Chris Shula, defensive guy, some other, the Miami, somebody else on Miami's defensive staff. I would say Cignetti, J. Bake, but he ain't leaving Indiana, and he's in his mid-60s, man. The Steelers don't fire coaches. They're looking for a guy for 20 years. That's why I think one of the Kubiaks needs to be the choice, in my opinion. Either Clint in Seattle, or is it Clay in San Francisco? Or the Titans are hiring Robert Saleh. How did they? I can't believe anybody wanted the job. Kiffin. No, Kiffin will be in the NFL in I'm saying 4 years. That's my window. Because if he has any semblance of success at LSU at all, he's going to the NFL. The NFL is going to be blowing his phone up, and you know how Lane works it. He's going to be in the NFL. If he's successful at LSU, he'll be in the NFL in 4 years at the most, I think. Wow. Yes, Cam Ward should immediately demand a trade. Anybody on the Titans should demand a trade. That place a dumpster fire. The Tennessee Titans told Derrick Henry, "You're not good enough to play for us anymore." Always remember that. When you see that Titan logo, remember that they told Derrick Henry that he was not good enough to play for the Titans anymore. So he goes to Baltimore and runs for 3,500 yards and 32 touchdowns in 2 years. But okay. Who is Indiana's offensive coordinator? I don't even know. I can't even tell you his name. Lance, the McDermott, he couldn't win with Josh Allen. What's he going to do with Mason Rudolph? Or Aaron Rodgers, who's older than half the coaches in the NFL. Yes, the Titans told Vrabel that he wasn't good enough to be their coach, and told Henry that he wasn't good enough to play for them anymore. I always remember that. As Vrabel's on the doorstep of the Super Bowl with a second-year quarterback. Although maybe Vrabel told them, just fire me and y'all can save face and just fire me. So we'll see. But anyway, so all right, we're pushing an hour here. It's 11:20. I gotta wrap it up, rest up. Gotta work tomorrow. Again, y'all come check out Longshore McKnight in the mornings at 7 a.m. Central Time on YouTube. Good Bama Auburn chat going in there. Of course, we don't care about Auburn, but good Bama chat in there. Pretty funny. Two good guys. Pretty funny stuff. We're trying to get them to 1,000 subs. So let's help them out. I think they're at 880 or 889 or something like that. So I'm going to try to plug them a little bit, try to help them get up over 1,000. I love those guys. They're awesome. So anyway, roll tide, everyone. Say your prayers. drink your milk, eat your vitamins, horns down, beat Auburn, LSU, Tennessee 2. Go Hoosiers. Congrats on Miami for a good season. That was a tough game. They never quit. They fought hard. I thought Miami was going to get blown out. I didn't think it was even going to be close. But Miami never quit. They never went away. And they had a shot at the end. That's all you ask for at the end is a shot, is a chance. And then Carson Beck underthrew a ball about 25 yards. And it was a nice, easy pass to the Indiana DB. And that's how the Mercenary Pro League season ends. So congrats to the Hoosiers. Congrats to Miami on a good season. It's always good when the U is good at football. When Miami sucks at football, it's boring. When the U is good and cocky and arrogant, football is better. Go watch the U doc 30 for 30. That's when, if Miami football is like that, then this league's in a good spot because their arrogance is hysterical. So anyway, roll tide, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us, or hanging out with me for a little while. Sorry if I'm kind of jumbled. I'm trying to keep up with the comments and not look like a total fool on here. So hopefully I did a semi-decent job of both. But anyway, we'll see y'all on Thursday nights. Appreciate everyone's help being in here. Appreciate y'all sticking with us. Appreciate y'all watching the shorts, watching the videos. Please keep watching. Please keep liking, subscribing. We're about at 8K. We're pushing to 10K subs for Waaaay Offsides. We got some big stuff. We got some big stuff in the works. We got some big plans. We got some big stuff that we're trying to get done here. So we're not just goofing off. We're doing this for y'all. We're trying to get info out there. Sometimes when I do a short, I speak on something. I butchered the Caleb Smith short, misspoke on his eligibility, thought he was a redshirt sophomore, but also misspelled a word. So y'all bear with us. Usually when we put these shorts out, we're scrambling, trying to hurry so we don't put a short out 4 hours after the news broke that everybody already knows. So we're trying to get these shorts out as quick as we can. So sometimes we miss up some information or get some info confused or misspell a word or something like that. So bear with us. Anyway, thanks everyone again. We'll see everyone on Thursday night, 8 o'clock Central. Waaaay Offsides right here on YouTube. Roll with everyone. Peace.